Hello everyone, Josh first back again, bringing you guys some more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. And we're going to be doing a pretty simple guide today, just talking about preparing your substats for your gear for hammers. Now, hammers will be coming to the game at some point, hopefully soon. I have no, timetable of when they could drop, but I feel, my gut feeling, my speculation is it should be sometime soon, because I feel like we're kind of at that point now where we're ready for UR gear, we're ready for the training cave, we are ready for hammers. So, depending on if they want to release them this coming week, next week, or maybe a week after, or whatever, I think it's still a good chance to talk about preparing your gear and getting it ready for hammers, because the main goal is to actually use more anvils and less hammers as possible. Hammers should be added to the gear gacha. If we go here to the shop and we go to the gear gacha, if you notice in here, you go up here to the rates, you'll notice that we have awakening stones under the 5-star 4% drop. And then if we go all the way down here, anvils, 5.36% drop rate. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it like JP, because obviously they're doing a lot of things different on the global side. They've already proven that. They should be adding anvils to the 5 stars as well, and the hammers would be under that category, and I believe it's like a 0.67% drop rate for those. So it would put, I think, anvils are right around what, 6% for the most part, pretty close to it, and then a 0.67% chance to get hammers. So the gear gacha's value goes way up when they add hammers, because now you have an opportunity to get your hammers, get your anvils, get your awakening stones, get gear that you can salvage, etc., etc. But that's not really what today's video is about. So that's going to be one way to get hammers. We're going to be adding hammers, I believe, to the training cave as well. And I think when we get more rewards added to, I think, Guild Boss and a harder difficulty stage, I believe they also add hammers to one of the rewards for that as well, for your weekly score. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what they do. So anyways, there's going to be opportunities and ways in the game to get hammers, but it's going to be a lot easier still to get your anvils. So, the main point to take away from this video is to try to use more anvils to get your substats as close as you need them to be. That way you can use less hammers to, of course, increase that stat. And if some of you are not aware, you're probably wondering, what do hammers even do? Hammers basically, let's go here to one of my units that I'm still working on gear for. I'm always working on his gear. It feels like his gear is never ending. So if we go to my Gothar's gear, as you know, I'm running all defense. I'm running defense and resistance on his 2 middle pieces. So if we go here and we go to like change a stat, you'll notice here that this gear did not roll very well in my favor. Now, if I'm really low on anvils, I'm not going to go through and fix all the stats to where I need them to be yet. I'll usually go back to it and fix it later. So, what a hammer is going to do, unlike anvils, anvils let you re-roll the stat. Completely re-roll it. So I could like roll an attack stat and then roll again, and it'll go into like the crit chance, crit damage, or pierce rate. What a hammer will do is actually take the stat you already have and give you a higher percentage than what you already got. And like that's kind of the main gist of it when it comes to hammers. What they're trying to do is it's trying to increase that stat. Now for SSR gear, I believe it costs 5 hammers per roll, and I believe for rare gear it's 3, but you're not going to use that on rare gear. Obviously you're going to use gold. I mean, that would make no sense. So what you want to do after you start rolling on your gear with anvils is you want to try to make sure that on your 3%ers, what I like to call them the 3%ers, that would be your attack, HP, and defense stats. You want to try to get those as close to around 2% as possible. I prefer you get to 2% if you can, because it's going to save you on how many hammers that you're going to use. Because hammers give you small percentage increments on those 3% stats and a little bit more on the 6% stats, which would be your offsets is what I like to call them, which would be, let me go to one of those right now, right here, like your resistance, for example. how your resistance can go up to 6%. So can your crit resist, your crit defense. What else we got? We got lifesteal. We've got recovery rate, regeneration rate, pierce rate, crit chance, crit damage. So all those are what I like to call the offsets, because they are not the main stats. So they can go actually up to 6% instead of 3%. So what I like to do is try to go through here eventually and get all these to close to 2% as possible for my main stats. And for my offsets, I like to try to get those to around 5%. That way you only need 1 more percent to finish those off to get a perfect roll. And for your main stats, you only need 1% as well to try and get those to a perfect roll. Now, some of you out there that have more anvils and maybe are spending a little bit more money on the game, you could try to maybe push 2.5 for your 3% and maybe 5.5. But I still feel that 2% for your main stats and 5% for your offsets is fine. It's fine. Now, I know there are some instances where you like roll maybe like a 1.9 and you're like, oh, I'm right there on the bubble. Is it really worth it? Again, that's a tough situation because it's still going to be up to really your situation of where you're at, you know, anvil-wise. How many anvils do you have? How often are you farming them up in PvP through the PvP shop? Are you getting your 1,200 plus points per week in Guild Boss? You know, etc., etc. And so it's going to be kind of like, you know, person to person, perspective per perspective, situation per situation. But I do think that it would be in your best interest, just my opinion here, that you should try to get as close to 2% as possible. If you roll over at 2%, you're good. Now you can go ahead and try to use hammers for those, and then you just work your way through each set of gear, and eventually you're going to get a really solid set completely done. And then maybe on later down the road, when we, when that unit gets engraved, you can then go ahead and decide if you want to UR gear it or not. You know, that's up to you. That'll be another video for another day down the road. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all it's to it. We kind of made this a little bit more long-winded than I wanted to, but I just wanted to make sure I covered a lot of different things, because I know a lot of you are going to ask some questions. So I was trying to answer a lot of those in today's video. But more or less, the moral of the story is just try to get your 3% stats to around 2%. Try to get your 6% stats to around 5%. If it's like a percent, like a 0.1 or 0.2% lower, you're really in that gray area. That's when you kind of pretty much just got to make that decision for yourself. If you want to try to reroll a little bit higher, or you just fine staying there for now and, going forward on that stat with hammers at a later time. Because like I said, hammers should be available in the gear gacha. So for those of you that are like hoarding up a lot of gold, that might be something that you might consider wanting to go into at some point. But again, it's pretty simple. It's really simple. Just get your substats where you need them to be. Just get the roll that you want, the actual substat you need. Try to get it close to 2%. Try to get it close to 5%. And then wait for hammers, and then your gear can be complete. And then you guys and gals can go into PvP and dominate. Or you can go into PvE and dominate. Whatever you want to dominate, just don't dominate me, because I'm not into that. Or am I? Question mark. Anyways, I'm getting out of here. Have a good one. Hopefully this little guide was helpful. I know it was a little longer than it should have been, but hopefully it covered a lot of bases and got a lot of you more, in tune with what's to come here when it comes to hammers. Some of the ways you can get hammers and what they're actually used for and how they really help with your gear. And again, use more anvils and use less hammers. That is the goal. So until next time, have an awesome day. As always, don't forget to subscribe, check notifications, join us in the Discord in the description below. And if you want to play the game in beautiful full screen, go ahead and take a look at my affiliate BlueStacks link in the description below. Download it from there for free. It really helps the channel out. Comment below what you guys think. Drop a like if you did. Until then, peace.